and the All Indiana Podcast Network. This is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hello, I'm Jeremy Jenkins, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 Podcast for Wednesday, March 12th. We begin with news on Capitol Hill, where the Senate now holds the fate of a bill to prevent a partial government shutdown. The House passed a temporary funding bill yesterday, mostly along party lines. It keeps federal agencies running through mid-September, but nearly all Democrats opposed it, saying it gives the Trump administration more control over future spending cuts. Republicans have a majority in the Senate, but they will need support from at least 8 Democrats to break an expected filibuster. Retaliatory measures are coming down as President Trump's new tariffs on steel and aluminum are set to kick in today. Economists say these new 25% tariffs could drive up the prices of cars, appliances, infrastructure, and even medical devices. Experts predict companies to pass on some or all of those added costs to consumers. President Trump argues that the tariffs will bring back more factory jobs. The U.S. Department of Education is laying off more than 1,300 employees, raising concerns about its ability to keep running. These cuts are part of President Trump's campaign promise to dismantle the agency. The department says despite the layoffs, it will still handle key functions like federal aid to schools and managing student loans. Meanwhile, back at the State House, there is another hearing on Governor Mike Braun's plan to keep property taxes in check. The House Ways and Means Committee is set to hold a hearing on the bill today, but a vote is not expected. The state Senate has already passed its own version of the property tax proposal, which was trimmed down after complaints from local government, raising concerns about the potential for lost revenue. The House committee is not expected to vote on the bill today. Prosecutors have filed domestic battery and strangulation charges against a man who has been prominent in the local theater community for decades. Our news gathering partners over at Mirror Indy say the charges were filed against Ben Rose on March 5th. Prosecutors say Rose assaulted a woman last month at his home on the city's south side. Rose has worked as an actor and filmmaker and was the founding artistic director of the Indianapolis Black Theater Company. The company tells Mirror Indy its board terminated its consulting contract with Rose. In Newton County, investigators say a woman who had been missing for 6 days was found alive in her crashed car. The Newton County Sheriff's Office says a man doing drainage work near the Newton County landfill yesterday saw a car off a nearby road out of view from passing traffic. The sheriff says the man checked the car and found Brianna Castle of Wheatfield still alive, conscious, and speaking. Investigators believe that she crashed her car last week. The sheriff says the woman was flown to a hospital in Chicago, but an update on her condition was not released. Let's talk sports. The Colts have reached an agreement with former Giants starter Daniel Jones. ESPN is reporting that Jones has signed a 1-year, $14 million deal. Colts general manager Chris Ballard had already said he wanted to bring in a veteran quarterback to create some competition for Richardson after his inconsistent play last season. Let's talk weather. When it comes to the forecast, Storm Track 8 says it's going to be a sunny and mild day today. Meteorologist Marcus Bailey has your News 8 Daily 8 forecast.
We had our warmest day of the year yesterday, 72 degrees. I think we may do a little bit better today. 73 is, I think, where we're going to head for the afternoon hours. Now, it is coming off a chilly start this morning. 40 degrees and clear overhead. Winds are out of the east at around 8, and the chills are into the mid-30s. Out the door this morning, you'll need the jacket. All right, through the 9 o'clock hour, we'll go 45. It will be mainly clear overhead, but we have a boundary that's kind of dividing the state in half, essentially. To the north, we're getting that colder Canadian air. To the south, you're getting more of a mild push of air. Eventually, the boundary will lift north, and so the entire state will get that bubble of warmer air kind of sliding through. But we got to wait a few hours to get there. 40 now in Indy, but 39 down in Bloomington and 36 in Columbus. The boundary is just south of there. You can see the 40s now in Washington and Madison, and lower 50s down in southern Indiana here for this morning. Temperatures are still going to be pretty awesome, even though we are running a little bit cooler this morning. How about 61 at lunchtime and 73 will be your high later on today, and I believe most of the state will continue to tap into that warmth, even up around Kokomo and Muncie. You should be into the upper 60s later on this afternoon. I have a couple more warm days for you here, at least through the end of the work week. But we have a very potent system this weekend, not only wet and maybe gusty, but the potential there for some severe weather. We'll time that out. And then we do cool things down for the back end of the weekend. You knew it was going to come to an end at some point. We'll break it all down on my Storm Track 8 forecast coming your way in just a few minutes.
To get a peek at Marcus Bailey's full forecast, just head over to wishtv.com, or you can download the Wish TV Storm Track 8 app. And don't forget to check out our Storm Track 8 weather blogs. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 podcast for Wednesday, March 12th. I'm Jeremy Jenkins for Wish TV, wishtv.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go, connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.